What does self-care mean when our world has turned upside down? The term self-care has a lot of street cred these days. Everybody probably has heard at least one sentence in the last 6 months about the importance of self-care. Well, those are two words that sometimes are like two railroad cars that don't really fit together very well. We have to kind of force it because there's the idea of what our self is, and then there's the idea of what care is. And when we put both of those together, that's supposed to almost like be a key that fits into a lock. All of the tumblers fit into place, and then the lock opens. So there's a lot of unspoken interpretation and assumption that goes into that term, self-care. But what happens when our idea of self completely turns inside out? What happens when our idea of how we move through the world doesn't just change, but kind of experiences all of these microscopic earthquakes all the time, all these microquakes that leaves us kind of on shaky ground in the world? How do we engage in self-care then? What is self right now in this time in your life? What does self mean? Sometimes the only way that we can know what something means to us is if we allow those associations that are like knee-jerk reactions just be present. So, would you be willing to try something with me? Notice when I say the word, what associations come to your mind. Don't, without any judgment. Of course, judgment is sometimes a knee-jerk reaction. If it happens, it happens. That's fine. But just notice what comes when I say the word self. What are those associations? What are those, perhaps, judgments? What are the ideas that are connected with that? That can tell us something about where we are when all of these microquakes are happening in our life. Because whether those earthquakes are microquakes because our life has turned upside down because of a substantial and phenomenal change in our personal life, or our world has turned upside down because of a substantive and phenomenally deep change like a global pandemic, our idea of who we are changes. And that's okay for it to change. It's okay if the term self and care is like trying to fit a Komodo dragon head onto a horse body. It's okay if it feels like it doesn't work right now. It will. These microquakes, these earthquakes within our hearts, they will not last forever. We will not always be where we are right now. But who we are, who you are, you will remain your beautiful you once all of the earthquakes stop. That's worth so many beautiful words. So however self and care shows up for you today or tomorrow or the day after, just notice what comes to your mind, to your imagination, to your heart, to your feelings. Because all of that is important information to know. Once we know, then we can be in the know in our life, and we can be united with ourselves. Only then can care of ourself become possible, when we allow ourselves to be in the know in our own lives. I'm Catherine Gabriel-Jones. I'm an encouragement coach. And I believe in you.